Hey guys, welcome back to the final week, the final night of the HGC ANZ preseason. I'm Diskin Kerr, if you're not sure who I am, and next to me is the best analyst in the business, GL Phoenix. GL, good sir, how are you going this evening?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Disco. It's a very interesting night of games that we've got ahead of us, and this next one that we've got coming up, there is a lot on the line for both these teams. We have GG Go Next, and also the Mickey Mouse Fun Clubhouse. I keep wanting to call them the Mickey Mouse Funhouse because it just seems to roll so much better. But they, in the previous round, you saw that they ended up losing to the Rich Gang, and now they're at a very high risk of just not even qualifying for the Premier Division at this point.
Yeah, this is going to be a really big game. Like everyone was saying that the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse was definitely going to be in the contenders pool for the Premier League. But with the loss to Rich Gang and the fact that GG Go Next actually won their last game as well, it puts them on the crux, the balancing, the tipping point, the GL of tonight's game. They're basically in sixth position. If they lose this match, it will be a very sore returning point for them, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's all come down to this, and they really need this win, not only just to keep themselves in the running to make it into the Premier Division, but just as a point of personal pride. I mean, Hacky left this team to go over with Moops and the rest of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and to lose to his former lineup would just not be very favorable for him. I would guess.
Emotions are running high. Even in the last game, I was lucky enough to sit in against the GG Go Next and the roles unspecified. And even the emotions were already running high in that game in lead up for this one as well. So as the story is unfolding, there's history between these two lineups. There's betrayal, love, passion, brother versus brother. Well, not real brother, but brothers from another mother kind of situation here. It's going to be a massive game. I can't wait. Do we have any details going in the map just yet, or are we still waiting for a little bit of information, waiting for these teams to be ready?
I think both teams are ready, and we're about ready to get into the game. We are going to be on Dragonshire, and it is going to be GG Go Next with the first pick in this draft. So I'm very excited to see where both of these teams end up going with this.
Dragonshire, what an amazing map to duke it out on these both teams. It's loading up right now. We're getting ready for draft. If you're just tuning in, this is GG Go Next versus the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. And here we are in Dragonshire now. Blue team is banning. That is I believe that was the GG Go Next. Locking in a Blaze ban. Now, this is an interesting, or shadowing, I should say, GL. It's actually funny. On the last map, they're playing Infernal Shrines. They actually banned out Blaze as well. So there's a little bit of history here. Has Blaze sort of shot up in the tier or the priority list at the moment? Or is this maybe a respect ban against former teammates on Clubhouse?
To be honest, it could be a little bit of both. I mean, Blaze has jumped up a fair bit in, I guess, priority from teams around the world, that they've been liking it more and more. And you can see that a lot of these players have been picking it up the pick and been doing decently well with it over the past couple of weeks. And as we get more time with Blaze, we start to find the spots where he can fit in much better. And he's got a lot of strength to his name. He's got a great initiation. Sure, it can be a little bit hit and miss. And if you don't hit, you're kind of in an awkward spot. But his sustainability is second. It's almost second to none.
Are you really in an awkward spot when Blaze, when you're in the middle of everyone?
Yeah, that's the thing. You technically you're out of position, but when you're Blaze, standing in the fire is just natural for him. And also the bunker is really good for helping get out of some of those tricky situations.
Get out of jail free cancels so much. Hanzo banned out by Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. No surprise there. Hanzo just a dominating force right now. The Uther pickup actually really good here. Again, we've seen GG Go Next play a lot of Uther. That's obviously a character that Sailor is very comfortable with. He feels in the healing role for the Go Next boys. But what are we going to see out from here? This leaves potential picks like Greymane, Genji, and on the board, murdered into Greymane. GL, I like it already. It's only 2 picks in, but I'm already liking the draft from the boys.
Yeah, it's a very solid start to the draft, having the solid front line of the Murden just really hard to get through, even for the most shredding of heroes. And the Greymane, sure, he had a little bit of a change in the recent patch, but he's still pretty damn good and is very highly prioritized at the high end of the draft.
It is a little bit of a risky one, would you say, though? Because even though he is good, he did receive some recent changes that just nerfed one of his more popular builder aspects to play him. And he's running into the Uther as well. Uther going to be able to stun him when he just dive in. Uther himself's not a very appealing target. So is it really just the raw power from Greymane we're seeing picked up there?
Yeah, I think it's also just because he's very versatile in the draft. You're not really giving away too much. And he's just, he brings a lot of strengths that you're not really able to counter all that easily, especially high up in the draft. And as I said, you're not really giving much away. But on the other side, the Genji, the ETC, they have so much power at the high end of this draft. They've got a Dragon Blade with a Divine Shield or potentially the Holy Cow, both incredibly powerful combinations. And that's a little bit scary to run into.
Oh, it's so much synergy. You're right. You know, we're talking about the Holy Cow there. You know, ETC goes in. We see Uther drop the Divine Shield on him purely just to make sure that mosh pit goes off without a hinge. No one really, however, on the other side, I would say, is a counter to ETC. Obviously, the boys are still picking. They're still banning out. But right now, there's definitely a little bit of a dive-heavy composition here coming from the GG Go Next. That might be a bit of adrenaline or emotions running high here, right? That whole play of, well, look, we've got to really put it to this. Hacky jumped ship. So let's see if we can get a little bit of revenge. Maybe we won't win the map, but maybe we won't win the battle, but maybe we'll win the war. All right, let's see. We see Arthas banned out. Good choice there. It stops Greymane diving in, getting him in more trouble against him. And the Tyrael ban as well goes good with the Greymane. You could either dive in afterward with the Sanctification, or even dive in with the Judgment, and just really help lock down a target, particularly the Uther.
Yeah, they're very solid bans on the upper on those second two bans. The Arthas is just really good to locking down some of those heroes that want to dive in very aggressively, locking down some of the attack speed and just make it really almost walking through a swamp trying to get past him. And the Tyrael is just an incredibly powerful pick right now. So yeah, very strong bans coming. And the Lucio and the Li Ming. So on that side for the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, they have an incredibly aggressive forward-moving composition that if they start to get the slightest bit of an advantage in these team fights, it can really start to snowball out of control.
Yeah, that's it. And, the Lucio there as well, going to really be able to protect any time that the Genji jumps into the back line, or with the Dragon Blade, the Lucio can just jump out, don't even jump out, sorry, can just drop the beat, drop the base, and just protect his entire team with his nice little shields. But what do we need to see come out of GG Go Next to come up against this? They need something to really challenge the Lucio, force him to pop the sound barrier early on in the fight, and then draw out the rest of the fight. What's our DPS looking at there? Do we go for like a mage or something like that? Do we do the Jaina? Do we do the KT? Probably not necessarily KT, but I think Jaina might have a place here.
Yeah, there are a lot of options that can work. The Dehaka is there for the solo lane, so they have a lot of control just in that, and also just around the map in general. And the Gul'dan is actually going to be the pick they go with. The Horrifier can be incredibly powerful in just completely locking out some of those heroes and just isolating a single target and just allowing the rest of the team to just blow that single target up and not letting all of that sustainability or letting that shield come in at any point.
And even the Horrify could be used like with the Lucio against Lucio as well. It said before the shield comes in. What about after the fact as well? They can really separate the team. It wastes the timer on the shield, so they're not really getting any effect. And you have a hero now that's out of position based on its cast place. So I think I really like the Gul'dan. Even though the Malthael is picked up and they're only running one tank, I still kind of like the lineup from GG Go Next. The Gul'dan's terror is another thing that's going to really hurt the Malthael as well. Also with the Uther stun, something that does counter Malthael is just hard CC.
Yeah,
so
a lot of crowd control in that lineup, and it's going to be very hard for that Malthael to get all that much value outside of just the solo lane play.
Yeah, that's it. But you need a hard solo laner, and that's something that they were sort of missing. The Malphite really picks it up. We know Vicarak has traditionally. This is an interesting throwback here, GL. So this roster, Hacky Moops and all that, in its original form last year included Vicarak, and Vicarak is well known for his mouthfeel play. So it's like the circle of life. It's all come back around again. Vicarak's on his mouthfeel with his boys, with his homies. It's looking good. So we're just about to load in onto Dragonshire. GL, take it away.
All right, on the blue side, we have GG Go Next. We have Doubt on the Genji. Azog is on ETC. Sailor is on the Uther. Bounty Knight is on the Gul'dan. And Deceptive is on the Dahaka.
And over on the red side, it's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse fighting for their Premier League status. It's all on the line in this game. We have, there's the Vicarak is on the mouthfeel. Demise is playing Meriden. Lucio will be played by the star player himself, Moops. Li Ming is the Hacky, the man of the hour. And Physics will be the wolf we all love and hate, Greymane. All right, starting out is Dragonshire. We are going to be looking at a top lane solo battle, obviously between Malphite and a Dahaka. In the bottom lane and mid lane should be 4-man rotation. I love this little opening premise by Demise there in the bottom lane, looking for a rotational kill.
Yeah, not too much. They don't necessarily need to be overextending too much just yet, but we do have Demise taking a little bit of damage right off the bat.
If Demise was any other hero, I would be concerned, GL, but he's Meriden, man. He's rocking the...
Muridans don't really care too much about a little bit of damage. With that second wind, is able to keep pretty healthy, and then especially now that he's taken third wind at level 1, he can take a little bit of damage, he can jump out, he can be rather safe, and still keep a lot of pressure going around the map.
All right, so far the shrines are activating in 30 seconds. So far right now, there's a little bit of a battle going out the top. Genji and Dahaka have managed to take out Malphite. That's going to be a big pain in the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse neck at the moment. No soak in the top lane, GL.
Yeah, just a little bit just taken down there. It was essentially what GG Go Next needed to be doing, because just in those pure 1v1, the Malphite can bully around that Dahaka. So having the Genji go up there and help out, turn it into 2v1, and even getting the kill really sways that heavily in that favor. And you can see already just a little bit of an experienced lead coming out for the side of GG Go Next, but not too much to write home about just yet, as we are getting the alter phases, and both of them are going to go in favor of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, while both teams are busy dealing with mercenary games.
Yeah, look, it did go in the favor, GL, but we saw there that there was no problem because it was given up by GG Go Next. A little bit of stun in the bottom lane against moves doesn't really cause anything. There's no one to follow up. I'd be surprised if Uther managed to solo anyone. Though it's not unheard of, I will say, it's not unheard of.
Especially when you start to see some of the Q builds coming out, he can be a bit of a pest, but he's not going for that. He's going for a very hammer-centric build, so wanting to get a lot of sustainability just in his mana, and also just slam the hammer down a little bit more, especially when you have those members who are going to be diving into melee range, wanting to lock them down immediately.
Yeah, that's it. The extra follow-up, the extra pressure. But I'm a little bit concerned here. So we're seeing the GG Go Next boys. They're putting a lot of emphasis or focus on the top lane, really pressuring out the Malphite. My trouble here is that the bottom lane is the most important lane on this map. And so far, it's actually been the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse who has prioritized that. They've pushed that. They've destroyed towers. They've made it easier to pressure the side of GG Easy.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of work there. We can see how much experience it has brought back to them. They did lose out a little bit on the top side from that earlier kill, but they haven't really been punished much more beyond that because of how they've been playing the rest of the map. Sure, Vicarak did drop early, but he's back and he's controlling that top lane incredibly well. He will, for the most part, just maintain pure control over that top shrine, and it's now up to the rest of the map to try and make a play as they do go in.
All right, and the engagement's going on. Physics taking a lot of damage. He can hang around just for a little bit. He does have Moops there supporting him. We will see the shrine flip at the moment as it sort of goes back to that neutral game. Both teams are looking for that something. they've expended both their siege cams in the bottom lane. Oh, big stun! Hacky's in a lot of trouble here. He does manage to blink out, is safe for the moment. Demise goes in, gets the stun onto Bouncy Knight. Bouncy Knight again can make it out because Azog is doing the peels for him, body blocking the path. GL, oh, rapid, and it's on again, GL. Physics now gets the stun. But Azog just out of position, not there to get the slide to follow up.
Yeah, we just got fighting all over the map, and so far it's going a little bit in favor of GG Go Next, but they're just not able to control the map enough to secure a Dragonite for themselves. But both of these teams, they just want to keep these fights going.
They just want to keep that pressure up, and that's what they're looking for. In the mid lane, we got a bit of trouble. Deceptive's on low health. Li Ming, Hacky gets the kill, but Hacky's in trouble. Gul'dan comes down and drops the Fell Flame. Takes Hacky out. Must feel good, says Bouncy Nice, the new Hacky for GG Go Next. But we still see Frine slipping each way and direction, GL.
Yeah, just back and forward, back and forward. That's pretty much been the name of the game. Nothing much more than just fights every chance they're getting it. As we're talking about, as we're getting into this game, both these teams, they have a lot riding on this game, and they've, I guess, no love lost between these two teams. They've had their run-ins over the past month, and you can very much tell that both of these teams are dying to get a win on the board just against each other.
All right, we're seeing a lot of pressure. Sorry, G, I just cut you there. We're seeing a lot of pressure in the top lane, and this is where definitely there is no love lost. Demise riding around on their love heart-shaped mount. A big push in the top lane. This is a lot of pressure behind that bottom lane. Shrine is being flipped here. Doubt's gone in, gets pushed back by Moops. Nice big hit, but oh, that parry, such timely. Doubt with the clutch self-saves.
Yeah, doing very well on that bottom side, maintaining control and allowing them to push through on this bottom side, clear up those siege minions, and allow their own to start putting some pressure onto the structures of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Whereas on the top side, that siege camp, the Night Camp was able to push very heavily. They were able to take down both towers, and they are already at their level 10. They have heroics, but they don't have all that much time to make the most of it, so they're not really going to have that big point of advantage by getting their heroics.
You're 100% right. Level 10 was the big winner for him. Level 10's just been hit now for GG Go Next. Is there no follow-up? No. Clubhouse finally rotating down at the bottom, but yeah, they've lost an opportunity to actually secure this shrine now.
Yeah, but they're still in a pretty decent position. They're able to just keep on controlling the map pretty decently, as they do manage to flip it over, and it looks like they want to get this fight going. With Down on the top side with that Dragon Blade, they want something to... They want to start even bringing down Deceptive, but they're not able to get the fight.
Yeah, look, they're going to need a really quick rotate to the mid lane here. Try and push it in. Malfield, man. So many mouths in this game now. In the top lane. This is good, Gel. Malfield's rotating down. He's there to try and protect the point, secure it. Going to push the mid lane. But behind this is kind of like Mickey Mouse's Clubhouse game at the moment. It's always GG Go Next responding to their positioning, their placement. They're going to grab the mercenary camp on the bottom lane. That's much-needed pressure. This could be a Dragon Knight incoming for the Clubhouse.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that, because you'd expect the team with the Dahaka to be the one to be controlling the pace of the rotations around the map, but yeah, it is currently the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse who is controlling the pace of the game, and you could very well see them manage to pick up a Dragon Knight at some point, but already they are going to be able to rotate down, but Demise is just stalling on the point, trying to get the Dragon Knight. They are actually going to get interrupted. The Divine Shield was popped by Sailor to get that, though.
It was wasted, unfortunately, because the DK was still picked up. That's not there for at least another 80 seconds. DK going through. We're seeing heroes die. Was that Genji gets the Muradin? But you know what? Trading Muradin for the DK.
And the Dahaka went down on the top side as well. In the 1v1, Vikarak managed to take him down. So it was a 1v1 and a Dragonite in favor of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. So they're going to be happy with that any day of the week.
And and it still gives them such a good position, right? So the bottom lane's pushed in quite nicely at the moment. The DK, I'm wondering if he's going to go bottom or going to go top here, or just waste, not waste, distract is a better word to say, GL. Distract the team of Go Next.
Exactly, and usually you're not expecting to push down an entire base with that first Dragonite, unless you're waiting until like 15 minutes, 20 minutes to get that first Dragonite. But you're happy taking down a single fort as they have done right there. So they're going to be very happy with how that first Dragonite played out. They have a talent tier advantage. They have a little bit. They have about a half level lead, and they're playing around the map incredibly well.
They're playing a much more traditional game for Dragonshire, I will say, with the Clubhouse guys. Ooh. Is that they're playing Demise to a scouting scene where they're going. He's in a little bit of a precarious situation right now. Azog didn't actually get the vision on the siege camp. This is actually going to, again, just amplify the lead the Clubhouse has, because now it's going to stop. They've detected what's going on. They're too late. Are they going to try and engage? No, they do back out. They don't want the added siege damage and the kind of cramped space to be a problem. They're going to have to return with their own camp. Again, they're just responding to what the Clubhouse is doing. The Clubhouse is coming in, GL, and it's on. Demise is in the back line there. Azog going in, trying to peel off Muradin from the back. Vigorak getting damage, and the Mosh is going down. It grabbed Vigorak. It's grabbed Demise, but it's still finally. We see the fall there. Next, Doubt going on the hack. Doesn't forget, going back. Nice prio there, nice stun. However, it goes in. Doubt's getting the damage on again. He wants to get a kill, but he can't commit to anything. And they all just speed boost out behind the Lucio. I have never seen a Genji so hungry for the kill before in my life. But you know what the greatest thing about that fight was? He was hungry for the kill, GL, but he didn't overextend. He was always within earshot of his team if he needed to go back or they needed to come for the rescue.
To be honest, I'm very surprised that Mickey Mouse Clubhouse didn't lose more members in that, because Heroics hit incredibly well from the side of GG Go Next, but moves on this Lucio, able to keep the team alive, a great sound barrier to delay the death of Vigorak, and using that speed boost to get the rest of the team out when, for all money, they should be dead. There was several members in that divine mosh pit not able to interrupt that, and also the Dragon Blade on that backline was doing so much work. But yeah, incredible that they were able to stay alive in that fight, and now they're actually here to defend this fort, and the members of GG Go Next, they can't actually push all the way through, and they're just losing so much on the top side of the map.
You know, it's a bit of a tough one here, right? They could lose the top of the map. I got no problem with that, GL. They need to win the bottom lane. The bottom lane's where all the action is. If they can push down that fortification, it becomes so hard for the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse to ever take the bottom shrine. And with Dahaka, when you see an opportunity, you can global up to the top lane to capture it and get the DK that way. So
we're having a party coming into this bottom lane, and the Dahaka needs to come in at this point, because we're going to have a big fight coming.
Speaking of that, Vigorak's on the back line. Nice big Reaper mark.
Oh, great lockdown.
The healer. But Vigorak's in a lot of trouble. He overextended, got shot by the fortification itself. Out of position. Look at the big stunts. ETC's in the house. 100% Australian grade A beef in that cow. 2 stuns secured, followed up there by Dahaka, who eventually did come in, get the nice little kill. He's rotated off. That's a DK. The chase is on. I don't think you're going to be able to get Muradin and Li Ming. But you know what? I'd go Vigorak, Moops.
I think they overextended a little bit in that fight. They were a little bit eager to make the play, but not really respecting the Brushstalker coming down from the Dahaka, and they paid for it incredibly much. They lost 3 members. They didn't get anything in return. The Dragonite does go over, and as you mentioned, this bottom lane is going to be that avenue to which they want to push through, and they're just going to go straight for it.
Look at this. The top lane is missing for GG Go Next. The mid lane is missing, as in fortifications. But the bottom lane, I will say it once, I'll say it 100 times, GL, is the most important lane, as Physics gets punted by the DK. Not really getting any follow-up or any kills there. They just want to push this. This is a keep. This is pressure for the rest of the game if they can somehow fight into that. Vigorak punted out in the back. The poking is real coming out of GG Next, sorry. And they're just
the poke on both sides, to be honest, is incredibly good. It is forcing away the members of GG Go Next. They have to be very aware that if any of them drop too low, they have a lot of reset potential on that lineup, so they have to be very careful should they take damage. And yeah, they're not able to get too much more, as the cocktail quest was completed, so that's going to be a decent amount of damage, as a decent defense coming out for the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
All right, the Biffos on again. They are on the chase. The Azog pushes them back. Demise, desperate. Dwarfs in. That could have been a little bit precarious for the the Iron Dwarf himself, but is the Iron Dwarf or a rock? I don't know what sort of dwarf he is.
He's a dwarf.
He's a man dwarf.
I'm not all that up to date with all the WoW lore and all the terminology. I've never played WoW. It's not my thing. I've never. Anyway.
Oh wow! No, that was actually a bit of an interesting play here. They are going to give up the siege camp. They don't have Dahaka. I wonder if he didn't have his burrow in, or if they weren't sure if they could take the fight. Squished corridor is not a great place when you're up against Malfurial. Malfiel. What a lovely name. I love it.
Although one thing I will say is that with the current build, going for the last rites doesn't have the Tormented Souls, so it's not necessarily as dangerous to walk into those close quarters, because the way for him to spread out that Reaper's Mark now is just with the auto attacks. He has had that change, and also doesn't have the armor on the Tormented Souls, and that's why we start to see more and more of the last rites picking up. And yeah, so it's not as dangerous to walk into those choke points, but he can still output a decent amount of damage.
With the cleave on his auto attack, though, that's what makes it like, it's Tormented Souls, not as necessary. However, the ability to spread the mark still exists.
It still exists, yeah.
It's even worse now because it's there all the time.
But you have to say that with the amount of crowd control on the side of GG Go Next, it's going to be very hard for him to get enough of those auto attacks in to spread out that Reaper's Mark, and it could be very hard for the Malthael to really have an impact in those massive 5v5 team fights. As we do have a gank potential being set up, as Mountain Knight is in a very weird spot.
This is dangerous for everyone right now. They've gone in, the Terror's come out, Mosh Pit's gone down, locked Greymane, but the team is split. No one can confirm. Demise gets the stun onto Gul'dan. Gul'dan's running for his life. We see the Harvey come in. ETC has fallen, but they're pulling in Greymane. It's a trade 1-for-1 right now. Just neutralizing out that fight. What a dangerous place for Demise to jump, but it wasn't even more dangerous spot. Oh no, Genji!
Oh, that is very dangerous. You say dangerous, and that's danger right there, and this is going to cause another Dragon Knight to go over to the side of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. There's no one in position to try and interrupt any of the channels, and they are trying to just delay this capture as much as possible, realizing that GG Go Next are not going to be in a position to flip over one of those altars. They can take all the time in the world. They can wait until the Greymane is as close to being revived as possible, or at least be back in the fight, so they can have as much pushing power coming into this as they possibly can. They're even trying to take down this bottom camp, so they have an incredibly powerful push coming on this bottom side right now.
That was such a risky maneuver there from Genji. You're 100% right. Look, everything you've said, it's set up the perfect conditions for the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse to take that keep. They may not core it from here, but hey, they may still core it here from right. We are a 17-minute Dragon Knight. But if they do manage to defend this, let's just get the case, GL. I don't think they're going to have I don't think they'll have this bottom lane keep after this engagement.
Yeah, the keep could very well go down, but they have more than enough tools in the shed to be able to at least hold on to the core, and at this point, that's okay. You give up a Dragon Knight this late in the game, and you're okay just giving up a keep as long as the game is still going, because as long as you're in the game, you can still come back on this map, and it's only down to half this Dragon Knight, and it looks like they want to keep on pushing in.
Well, I mean, they've still got sort of like tanking shots from DK. If they can manage to get a little bit of pressure, Demise goes in, misses, gets stunned in return. Damage going on to him, but again, the DK seeing the background, attacking the core. Mosh Pit goes down very, very nicely, but again, oh no, this could be a big wipe here. We're going to see next going in, Bouncy Nice looking for a position on low health, moves, about to be taken out by Doubt, is killed. Oh, look at that, the slice and nice. Is that a ninja or a samurai? Genji goes to town, gets the work. Vikrak could be next.
Vikrak is living so long.
Not long enough, and Demise is running with those little dwarfy legs, but it's on. Genji goes in. Doubt's showing Demise that the D in his name is D for death. He leaps out, but Doubt is still tracking him profusely. Dives in, decepts it, goes ahead. Double stun. What an
This could be game going in the other direction. They have more than enough time on the death times to be able to just go in and take down this keep themselves. They don't need the minions to do it, and they can just go straight for the core themselves. But it could be a little bit risky. They are going to be taking a decent amount of damage from this keep and also the core, and it might give them just enough time to get back for the defense, but it's going to be very tight.
They're going to slowly come into it, right? They're going to res offset, so it's not going to be enough. This is going to be full going in right now. I think this is game, GL. I think they've done it. I think GG next have actually knocked.
It's not over just yet. They go in. They can get the resets. They can get the resets.
It's so close. It is going to go down. They've done it. Oh my gosh, GL. I can't believe it. I cannot believe what I am witnessing right now. Did the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, the ancestral sun returning to the list, and they have lost to former list, to former roster that Hacky was on. The former Dark-Sided have just put the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse into 6th position.
Yeah, that's a bit of an unfortunate situation for the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I think I was getting a message that it might be a little bit up in the air considering how some of the other matchups have gone, but still, it's a massive blow to their chances to make it into the Premier Division. They've been doing so well throughout the qualifiers, but to fall at the very potentially one of the last hurdles is going to be it's really going to be playing on their minds. They were so close in those last couple of fights. They got that core down to about 30%, and they were just not able to finish it off. And if that's what's going to cause them to not be in the Premier Division, they're going to be kicking themselves for the next few months.
It's a really greedy play, and you have to think, was it an opportunity to end the game? Was it greedy or was it disrespectful? These are all the things that the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse...
A little bit of all above.
It's a little bit of everything, right? Adrenaline, the rush, the urge to finish out, close the game, nerves. It's just one of those matches. But I mean, it went in sways. It looked good on the side of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. It looked good on the side of GG Go Next. It just was all there. But would you say a mishap? Would you say a mishap? Just emotions ran high in this game, but there can only be one victor in the Nexus.
Absolutely, and that's going to be the GG Go Next boys, and I'm pretty sure they've pretty much secured their spot in the Premier Division, so congratulations.
Well, they're undefeated.
Then they've most definitely secured their spot. So
I'm pretty sure if we check, so I have to check. Sorry guys, I'm going to just very quickly check that fact, but I am pretty sure that they are an undefeated roster this season.
Yeah, and they've looked incredibly strong. Even with that roster shuffle and all the fiasco that went on with that, they've still maintained an incredible amount of strength. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they play once the Premier Division fully kicks off.
They are the team to watch. They are the milkshake the region needs. Not the one it wants, but the one it needs.
And it's the one that we're going to get.
It's the one we're going to get. Congratulations, boys. Welcome to the Premier League. You will be, I don't think you can be highly anticipated, highly watched. I'm sure of it. But having said that, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, I really hope that they still manage to get into the Premier League because they're an amazing team. It's an amazing roster. And, let's see, I guess it's how the cookie crumbles, how the pendulum sways here in the ANZ region.
Yeah, we are going to be going to a quick break. We will have the last game of the night coming up very shortly, and after that we'll know for sure which 5 teams are going to be joining Nomia, Crimson, and the Outlaws in the Premier Division. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.